Socrates says we Greeks live like ants or frogs around a pond. This idea of um, little colonies like lily pads with the frogs that share the water, but have enough independence so that no one of them is going to become tyrannical. And it's out of this that maybe our modern love for freedom and democracy may come, from this geographical coming together of islands and isolated places that weren't isolated in the sense that they had no communion. They were very communicative one with another, but they had this perfect balance of union with division, which is a big theme in the philosophy I put forward in my books, that we need them both, but we need them, moreover, to be unified, not to be divided. So the great philosopher, poet, playwright, thinker, statesman, Goethe says, he has so many completely wonderful things, but one that really speaks to me is this: dividing the united, uniting the divided is the very life of nature. This is the eternal systole and diastole, the eternal coalescence and separation, the inhalation and exhalation of the world in which we live and where our existence is woven, a very interesting word. Systole and diastole are simply the terms for the contractive beat and the relaxing beat of the heart, the lup followed by the tup that you can hear when you hear a heartbeat. And so he compares it to this rhythmic movement of breathing and of the heart, and that there are these two directions in which, as I say, things are, what is together is unfolded, and what is unfolded is brought together again. This seems to me about as close to the core of what one can say about natural life as anything I know. And interestingly, this is not an isolated reflection, but is in pretty much every culture that I know of. For example, the Sandokai, which is about as near, it's a Japanese text, but it's about the nearest to the core text of Zen that you can come. The import of the name, Sandokai, is the harmony of difference and sameness. So again, it's this union of union and division. And I sometimes say we don't want non-duality on its own, but we want the non-duality of duality and non-duality. And we want the not just asymmetry or symmetry, but the asymmetry of symmetry and asymmetry. So you see that in each case, one of these, as it were, acts at the meta level and trumps the other. So they are partners, but they're not exactly equal partners, which is an image of the brain hemispheres, which I will briefly talk about in a minute. So what all this, what this offers us, this ability to be in and to be out, to be together with, to be separate from, is something I call necessary distance, that without it, things become fused into a single mass. But if there is too much distance, they simply fly apart. So the image that one wants is that of two heavenly bodies that circle round one another. They don't crash into one another, they don't fly apart, but they form this connective relationship, which I think is a very good image of a functional human relationship, a loving relationship. It also gives a message that is important outside of individual life, but in organizational life. My own belief is that organizational structures are at their best when there is the maximum independence within them that is compatible with togetherness, and the maximum independence devolved to those in the hierarchy that is compatible with them doing their task. We live in an era of frantic over-control, monitoring everything, micro-controlling everything. It can only lead to suffering, and it can only lead to mediocrity. If we want to live free lives and creative lives, we have to move in the other direction. So I would say good government is the lightest possible hand on the tiller And this reminds me of a saying you will know from I think, the Tao Te Ching. The sage does nothing, and yet nothing is left undone.